meeting is being recorded.
Welcome back to the Stephen Knight Show. Adam, you are holding down movie reviews solo. First of all, how was your break? How were your holidays? How's your New Year starting off? Tell us everything.
Yeah. I feel like it's been forever since I've seen you,
All
Steven.
right.
But holidays were good. Went to Atlanta for the actual holidays, and I did reach out to you, of course. So
Did you?
well, Scott did, and he said, "Hey, you want to go meet Adam for lunch on Monday?" And you're like,
And I told
"I
you I wouldn't be there anyway.
yeah."
He told
I
me
did.
he told me a funny story how you set him up too. He told me that the other day. Yeah, I'll tell you about it offline.
Okay, yeah, yeah. But I ran into Michelle also, so that was
Yeah, he
nice.
told me.
Got,
Yeah.
got to see Choa, and then went to San Diego for New Year's, which was fun.
Nice.
It was great. Yeah, weather was really good. Yeah, and then besides that, just got back to work. I started actually another podcast with a friend of mine. We review music videos from the
Okay.
past.
What's it
So
called?
it's called Rewind and React,
Okay.
and it's on Spotify, Apple, YouTube. We have it there
Nice.
too. So if you want a little bit of nostalgia and listen
So
to us
what
talk
do you
about.
are you reviewing older or like current?
So it's a mix. So we
Okay.
started with older because we grew up in the '90s. So you remember Jamiroquai's Virtual Insanity, Missy Elliott's movie,
Mhm.
Super Duper Fly. We talk about those. We hop
Okay.
into different topics. We are talking about bands and greatest songs from this band. We're slowly going to move into kind of the modern day, but we've really stuck in the '90s, 2000s for now.
Okay.
Um, and then we'll work our way over, but it's cool because you get to see things you remember as a kid and say,
Right,
okay,
right. And then you see it
some
from
of them,
adult eyes now.
yeah,
Yeah.
and you're like, oh wow, this is so much different than I remember as a kid.
Yes. And don't you look at
So
something I thought that was so cool back then. I was like, what are we doing? What were we doing?
exactly.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, things are so different.
Yeah.
So it's fun. So we talk about, and then we do a little research too to be like, okay, is this like a director that's done a lot of music videos? Which,
Hmm.
not surprisingly, but I guess surprisingly in my research, there's a lot. Like there's certain directors that have done hundreds and hundreds of music
Oh
videos, and
yeah.
that's just like
Yeah.
their whole bread and butter, and they're huge. They're like famous within that realm.
Yeah.
Um, it's cool.
That's nice. And what's it called again?
Rewind and react.
Okay. Gotta check it out. Wherever you listen
Yeah,
to your
yeah,
podcast.
definitely.
Wherever you listen to your podcast. All right. So what do you have for us tonight?
Yeah, so a lot of things have happened over the holidays. We had not only Sonic 3 coming out, breaking records, we had Mufasa, the Lion King prequel come out. I've seen neither of those. So what I'm actually going to talk about is a couple of things I did see that I really wanted to catch up on.
Okay.
So the first one is called Juror Number Two, and this released out in November, and it's on HBO Max right now for streaming. But it follows Nicholas Holt as a person who's selected for jury duty, and when he hears this case, he realizes that he may have been the one that actually committed this murder that this guy is being going on trial for. So it kind of gives that whole like it's an interesting premise where if you realize you may have been the one, and there's not much of a spoiler, but basically this woman was killed in the middle of the night, and as he's remembering this, he thinks he may have hit a deer, which he
Mm.
thinks actually may have been her. So he has to go through this kind of like moral dilemma of what to do and what to do next. It's directed by Clint Eastwood, and it's really cool. It starts off as a good premise. I will say, as we get towards the end, it gets a little cheesy and a little bit like, I don't know, hokey and a little unbelievable because again,
Yeah.
how does one approach a situation like this? Does he tell the truth? Does he work his way and not getting in trouble? There's a lot of factors there that kind of you can poke holes in. But it's a
Yeah.
fun watch, and if you have streaming, check it out on HBO Max.
Nice.
The the next thing I saw was actually in the theaters, and it is A Complete Unknown. And this follows the story of Bob Dylan when he
Oh
first
yeah.
came to
Hmm.
when he first came to New York, and then actually the big incident that happened at the Newport Folk Festival, and stars Timothy Chalamet as Bob Dylan, and it's a cool kind of story. There's a lot of dramatization. Do you and Stephen? This was Bob Dylan, of course, is timeless, but he was way before our generation.
Right,
Did
right.
you listen to Bob Dylan ever? Did you ever get into him?
I never got into him like that, but I know who he is as as a great artist, and yeah, but yeah, just explain
Yeah,
it.
yeah. So it's a kind of a fun, there's been so many. He might be like one of the most prolific people that have had either biographies or books
Yeah,
or films or documentaries made about him. It's crazy, but this is a cool story and it's fun. And if you're looking to kind of get into dip your toes into the Bob Dylan universe, this is it.
that's the way to do it.
Yeah, and Timothy Chalamet does a great job. He actually does a lot of his own singing during the scenes and things like
He
that. It
performed
really.
his favorite Bob Dylan songs on SNL this past weekend.
Oh, did he?
Yeah,
Okay. Well, then I need to check that out. That's good to know. But yeah, yeah, it's a great film. Again, don't take it too seriously. There's a lot of, I think, extra things they added to make it more of an
yeah,
exciting story of what happened. But for anyone unaware, this whole Newport Folk Festival was like his moment of going electric, and he was such a big icon in the folk scene, and the scene was just like, you don't play electric, you go acoustic. Electric is so rock and roll, and you're not that. And him changing and going into that world was such a big deal at the time.
yeah.
So yeah, yeah, definitely good. Um, and it is nominated for Best Picture. So I'll talk a little bit about Oscars. So we have Oscar nominations coming through. I'm gonna
Yes.
try to work my way through it. There's a lot of movies on it, a lot of nominations of things I haven't seen, uh, but I am planning to work my way through that. Um, and then, Stephen, you'll be happy to know I have a 3-month trial subscription to Apple um,
Uh-oh.
because everyone's been talking about Severance, and it came
Oh,
back. And I don't know if you've seen the show.
I
Um,
haven't.
it's interesting. It's like if you take a little bit of the mystery of Lost, a little bit of Twin Peaks weirdness, and you add it with like a great office setting, you have this show that stars Adam Scott as a person
Oh, I know
who,
what show you're talking about.
yeah, they work. So their job is
When they realize that when they go back home, they realize they have a life outside of work, something like that.
yeah. So basically, they sign up to work at this company,
Yeah.
and at this company, you become severed, and they insert a chip in you, which you don't remember your work self,
Right.
and your work
Right.
self
Yeah.
doesn't remember your real world self. So
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
almost like you have two different. There's two different. You basically split into two different people, even though you're the
Right.
same person because you don't remember. And so it kind of goes through like navigating how that works, and then again, there's a lot of mystery in it. They throw in these like, why is this company doing this? The job they do is very cryptic. It doesn't make any
Yeah.
sense. And so why are they doing this? And it's again, it reminds me of Lost because there's a lot of the like mystery elements of what does this mean and things like that. So season one came out in 2022. Season two
Right.
just premiered.
Yeah.
So I eventually, caved in, well, I'm not giving Apple any money, obviously, but I got the 3-month free trial. So I'm going to check out Severance. And Steven, if you have any other recommendations of Apple TV
When
shows
the
I should
morning show comes back, you got to check that out. The morning show. I'm telling you.
I'll watch the morning show. I've been resisting because I don't know if it's any
It's such
good,
a
but
great show. Such a great show.
yeah, I do
But I'll
like
tell you about the show
movies.
you're talking about reference. So they were on the CBS Mornings promoting that show. And it's so secretive what happens this season. The trailer they used was from last season.
Wow,
They were promoting, the season two. They used a trailer from last season to promote the new season because they couldn't tell you anything. They couldn't tell
that's
you anything.
hilarious.
I
Yeah,
know.
yeah, yeah. You should check it out. I will say I do worry that first of all, don't over it's one of those shows don't overthink, or you can poke a hole in all of
Yeah.
the flaws with it. But
Yeah.
there's throwing a lot of mysteries in. I just hope they don't like write themselves into a corner where you're gonna see the ending and it doesn't make sense, or it's just gonna be like
Right.
very disappointing. So we'll see.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Um, but yeah, that's mostly it. Just really catching up on that because
Yeah.
of all these travels and whatnot.
Well, real quick, I saw two movies I want to talk about. I saw One of Them Days. That's the Issa Rae. She produced the movie
So
and starring Kiki Palmer and SZA. And I thought it was funny. It puts you in the everyone was saying it was the modern day Friday, and it puts you in the vein. Cat Williams, he's in there, and I mean, he doesn't have like a huge scene, I'm like a huge role, but he's like a
mhm.
fixture in the movie throughout the movie. But it was like one of those movies. I thought it was really good. It's like something cool to watch, you know what I mean? And then I saw Jamie Foxx and Cameron Diaz. They have a new movie out on Netflix called sorry, what's it called? It's called Back in Action. And
Mhm.
this is her first movie in a decade. She took time off to really just be at home with her kids and whatnot. This is her first movie back. This is their second movie, I think, together. And I thought it was a good movie. I thought like the concept of the movie was good. I thought about you when I was watching it because you can tell when there's a lot of CGI and it looks fake, especially
Yeah.
at the beginning of the movie. But but it was good. It was good. And pretty much they are secret agents back in the day and they escape from that world. They get married. Oh, because she got pregnant. They were messing around, got pregnant. They sneak off and it catches up with them in current day where they have teenagers and they're living their lives. She's like a soccer mom and whatever. And then something come from their past comes back and so they have to go
Mhm.
back into this world. But Glenn Close is in the movie and I love her character. She plays Cameron Diaz's mom, but I think it's a good movie. I think it's a good movie. I like a long movie. So
Yeah.
the first movie I saw was like an hour and 30 minutes. This is if 2 hours. I don't think it was even 2 hours. Perfect. But I recommend both of those.
Okay, is it on streaming?
The first movie wasn't, but the Jamie Foxx Cameron Diaz is on Netflix.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, yeah. The Issa Rae movie still just got released in the theaters like a week or 2 ago, so
Yeah,
that was
it was
perfect.
second week, and it's already it topped the box office, which was interesting. And this is
That's good.
also Keke Palmer's first executive producer movie that she executive produced as well.
Oh,
So yeah.
nice.
Mhm.
That's awesome,
This
yeah.
is SZA's first movie. So I know Oscars is coming up. You'll be giving us some what to look out for, or your predictions as we get into that season.
Yeah, yeah, so, of course, this movie that speaking of long movies that we wish were shorter, but, this movie, The Brutalist, starring Adrian Brody, is, like,
Hmm.
3.5 hours long. It's apparently favored to win. It's so long, they put an actual intermission in the movie, so there's, like, a 10,
Oh,
15
that's
minute.
that one. Okay, yeah,
Yeah, uh, I I will watch it for this show, and I've heard it was good here and there, but, like, man, I hate
yeah.
these long, long, long movies. If you can't make a movie at a reasonable time, then just send it to streaming or turn it into a TV series, like, this
That
was way
series,
too
right? Yes.
yeah. So that I will watch, but a few other ones I want to see. Conclave, which is kind of the Vatican one where they have to pick a new pope, and it's fictional, but it's kind of a cool like story of like what's going on and like kind of a thriller there. Anorum was also one on my list. So there's a lot of different ones. Yeah, I'll keep you all posted.
Yeah, let
It's
us
gonna
know.
be kind of yeah, it'll be kind of quiet because I think we're leading up to Oscars, so our quality of movies may not be that exciting. I will say there's another Marvel movie at Captain America: Brave New World coming out
Yeah,
for
yeah.
anyone that just wants to turn their mind off and go back to the superhero movies. But yeah, I'll try to get through some of these.
All right. Well, Adam, thank you for always letting us know what to spend our money on and what not. And we'll be right back after this.